Hello and welcome to day 98 of 365 days. In 2 days, we're going to be in day 100. Holy freaking shit. I remember being on the beach giving my first live, and the week that I committed to doing this Facebook Live. Oh my God. Some days I'm like, why did I commit to this? Why did I do this? I don't want to think. I just want to be in my life right now, but I committed it because I really wanted to be at a deeper level, all in on my business. And I felt like this is one of the ways that God was guiding me. And this is what I really want to talk about today. When we are talking about God, when we are talking about getting deeply connected with God, one of the things that I have found for me that has been so helpful on my journey of awakening, of living a soul-led life, is that God lives within me. God is not separate from me. My desires, my intuitive feelings, or these inklings, or this thing that's here in my mind, where my life is wanting to pull me to, the little whispers in my ear that says, do this. The little whispers that says, you're really not happy here. The whispers that says, go face your fears. All of that is God speaking through me. God, or Mother Creatrix, Sophia, Christ consciousness, like you name it. It all is coming from this really divine source. And one of the things that life has shown me, specifically, and this is for me why I love the work that I do, because the work that I do really helps women to take a lot of this spiritual stuff that they have been learning and doing and really ground it into your day-to-day life. The women that I work with who are very spiritual, very highly connected, very attuned and very aware to the other dimensions, very mystical and all the things, they actually the women that I work with are having a hard time finding the love of their life. Hi, Gerline. Because they haven't done certain day-to-day things in their day-to-day life, certain things that take really hard, courageous moves that has nothing to do with the spiritual, in the sense of praying about it, in the sense of doing another like breath work session and getting all these awarenesses and things. It's the day-to-day things that you do in your life is spiritual work, is what's either connecting you closer to God or further away from God. Do you get what I'm saying here? What you do every day, if you're following your soul, you are getting closer to God. If you are listening, deeply listening to yourself, creating that deep inner self-trust, you are getting closer to God. You are connected to God. And I'm talking about higher self. I'm not talking about the lower self. I'm not talking about your ego. I'm talking about your higher self, capital S, self. When you are in that deep connection with yourself, you are deeply rooted with God. This is how I'm able to integrate higher teachings of like the Course in Miracles, of high priestesses when I'm joining their courses and all of these things, reading different texts that I can actually understand, not texts that really are like way over my head. But your day-to-day actions, listening to this, listening to your heart, listening to your womb, is what gets you closer to God, because God is not separate from you. God lives within you. We are an extension of God, of source. So when we are looking outside of us consistently, sometimes, not all the time, in this relationship with God, we will ask God to give us signs, to let us know, to give us all the things. So therefore we are looking for something somewhat external. But at the end of the day, it's really an internal relationship with yourself that you are creating, your own sovereign connection with you, which is your sovereign connection with God, that creates this undenying, unwavering faith in yourself and what you can do with your life, because you are in direct communion with God because of this deep inner capital S self-trust. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm going to read you something here. Let me know how that's landing. Because for me, when so my greatest lessons have always come from my previous relationship with my ex, I was in a toxic relationship, right? And I was doing all the spiritual things. I was doing the Course in Miracles. I was doing the breathwork sections. I was really trying to learn more about spirituality and all of those things, right? And okay, I would learn about the text and like, okay, how, only love is real and blah, blah, blah. But I was still having these issues in my relationship, right? I was still having these issues in my relationship. Like, why am I not seeing the results that I want after I've grown so much, I've learned so much, I'm so much more aware of myself. And it wasn't until I hired a mentor, Julia George, R.I.P. Julia George, where it was about, not necessarily about creating this relationship with something outside of me and learning about this God, about Jesus through the Course in Miracles, about outside of me. It was about connecting with my higher self within me. I remember during this work with her, I started, after like a month or 2 months, I started crying, deeply crying. And I remember writing in my journal, like, I don't know it was just like out of nowhere, I just started crying. And I was like, it was this deep sense of worthiness that I am an innocent child of God. I am a daughter of God. And He has always loved me. He has never left me, right? It was this feeling. So during that time, I didn't read any spiritual texts. I didn't go to a Course in Miracles classes. I didn't go to anything that was like any Buddha classes or anything like that, right? That whole time, those 2 years, I was listening to my soul. I was listening to the little whispers within me that I wasn't listening to before because of fear. And every single time I listened to those little whispers, those parts of me that wanted me to act courageously because of what felt divinely right for me to do, despite of the fear of what could happen if I did take this action. When I listened to that soul-led whisper, that little part of me that was saying, don't let him do this to you. That part of me that said, wear what you want to wear. The part of me that said, go take this food and allergies test. The part of me that said, go do this in your business. The part of me that said, listen to what feels right for you right now. All of that was my higher self, which is God. And I had never been so deeply connected with God without spiritual texts, without any of those highly coded spiritual texts that say so many things but also say nothing. And I'm not mocking it. I'm not mocking it at all. It's like sometimes, like, when I read some of these spiritual texts, I'm like, what the fuck did I just read? My mind feels like it's in a pretzel, right? That's what I mean by like highly coded. Is like sometimes like you have to have this certain type of brain to really understand what it's saying, to break it down. I had been more connected with God through listening to my soul, listening to my capital S, versus taking different courses that spoke about God. Do you get what I'm saying? And with doing those actions day in and day out, the hands-on work in the 3D realm, okay? Listen to what I'm saying. If you are a highly spiritual woman where you feel like your life isn't turning, like there's certain things that aren't turning out the way that you want to, you're unfulfilled in a certain area in your life, what you do in your 3D world is the spiritual task, is the spiritual work, is getting closer to God, because you're finally listening to those desires that are within you, that are birthed within your womb, that are birthed because of God, because God lives within you. I want to share something with you in this, the Sophia Code. I love this text because this is a very well-written text where you can actually understand what's being said here. But there is a passage in here that shares about exactly what I'm talking to you about, that your own that the world that you want to be, this new world that we're going into, this new earth, the blueprint lives within you. The blueprint lives within you, okay? You are here. This is, I can't remember what chapter. This is the key code 777 of the Sophia Dragon Codes. You are here to birth a new world that looks entirely different from the world you live in now. The only blueprint for what you are here to birth exists within your soul's own heart womb. The only blueprint for what you are here to birth exists within your soul's own heart womb. My freaking heart chakra is like bouncing right now. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The only blueprint for what you are here to birth exists within your soul's own heart womb. Therefore, we invite you to keep your eyes fixed upon this holy of holies within you and never look back. Again, this means if you want to tap into your full potential, if you want to create how Jesus created, if you want to do the magical things that he did, right? And it's not because you want to show off to the world, but because it shows the level of potential that you have within you. It's within here. It's building that self-trust. So I want to talk about something that I put in here on the caption that said deep, like when you are in deep, sensual, erotic love with yourself, you are also connecting deeper to God. Why is that? Because when you are in this love affair with yourself, you are having this love affair with God. When you are having a love affair with yourself, you are having a love affair with God. Like truly, like caressing your body, loving yourself, deeply intimate with yourself, self-pleasure, all the things in right relationship with your erotic nature. You are being penetrated by God as you do that too. Your sensual, erotic nature is so innocent and so part of your innate nature as a woman that when you are in this deep connection with it, You are in deep connection with the Holy Father, the Beloved. And when you are in this deep place of self-trust, when you are in this place of deep, sensual, erotic love for self, you are having, this means that you are in a place of faith. Faith of you and faith of God. It's like a double whammy. It's a 2-for-1. When you deeply trust yourself, you are also deeply trusting God, because you're also trusting your messages that you're receiving. You're not second guessing the messages that you're receiving, whether it's an intuitive knowing or an external message that is being received to you, or a desire, right? Your desires are so holy and so sacred. They are meant to be activated. They are not meant for you to just sit there and let them die. As a matter of fact, your desires will continuously come up. As I guided a client right now, she's in the middle of a transition of figuring out where she wants to do with her career. And there was a feeling of really wanting to leave this job. And she'd been wanting to drop down to 30 hours. This has been a desire that's been living in her life for a few years now, more than 3 years, but she would always push it down. And then eventually it would always come back up. That's because your desires are so innate and so holy that you have to follow them. They will continue to come back up. And these desires, once you start following them, they unlock something else. They unlock another desire. That's like the path of your soul's fullest fulfillment. So in Sex Priestess, we are deeply connecting with your erotic nature. And as a result, you are deeply connecting with God. You are deeply connected with where you came from. You are being deeply connected with your right to pleasure. You are deeply connected to your womb and the opening of your crown chakra through this relationship with your body, through this relationship with your pleasure. It unlocks. You connect. Especially as women, having this really deep, intimate relationship with our bodies, with, like I said, higher self, like this really innocent, erotic relationship. I'm not talking about vibrators. Okay, I'm not talking about getting a quick thing off. No, I'm not talking about self-pleasuring for performance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really being in your body, worshiping your body, honoring your body. All of that bridges the gap between the human and the spiritual and where you came from. God, Source, Mother Creatrix. And you receive messages, you receive intuitive knowings, you feel the divine support of Him with you. My most intimate, my most strongest connections with God has come through a yoni dhyaram, through a feminine practice, through a yoni dhyaram practice. It wasn't because of me sitting on a pillow meditating or me reading some kind of text. It has come from this really deep relationship with myself, trusting myself, knowing that as I take these courageous moves in my life, I have God right behind me. So if you're interested in Sex Priestess, I have the doors open up until August 2nd, I believe, which is a Friday. Yeah, August 2nd, which is a Friday. So if you are interested in it, message me, because this will be maybe one of the ways that you connect with God that is so pure, so innocent, and so divine, as equally delicious, that you will undeniably know that God is with you. So message me if you are interested in having this relationship with yourself, with God and with sex and with your man, if you're in a relationship and or your future lover. All right, so message me if you're interested in that. I will send you all the details, and I will talk to you soon.